Good morning, everyone. I hope you've got your coffee in hand because this morning we have a brand new game to talk about. So Bungie has officially made its way into the world of extraction shooters with Marathon, a game set in the far distant future with cybernetic mercenaries, that's you, who are scavenging for resources, fighting for life, and trying to discover what happened to their planet. The gameplay reveal for Marathon was on April 12th, and this particular game is a revamp of sorts from the original Marathon, which looked vastly different considering that it was released in 1994. Some of you who are watching this video may not have even been alive then, on the Mac if you can believe. Now the reveal showcased much of what you would expect from any reveal, what the game would look like, the gunplay, the player mechanics, the world that you would be fighting in, the abilities that the characters would have, etc, etc. Being that this is a Bungie game, it's no surprise to me that this game falls well within the category of hyper-saturated colors. That's very obvious and evident. Exosuits, abilities like fast dashing, invisibility, plasma shields, on and on. Now, all of these things I don't personally care for, and that's what's going to bring me to the meat of the video ultimately. Do you think Marathon will set itself apart? Will it make it? As I've stated several times before, especially in the Battlefield 6 video that I recently made, the exosuit humanoid style gameplay, it's just not really my cup of tea. That isn't to say that the games are inherently bad, I just don't like it. I have not gotten my hands on Marathon yet either, so I can't speak specifically to how this game feels, but I just don't care for that type of gameplay. Marathon looks like it probably has solid gunplay and mechanics, and coming from Bungie, I would certainly expect a polished product. However, this certainly isn't anything radically new in the space, that's for sure. We've seen games like Off the Grid, Ascendant, Exoborn, that's just to name a few, all of which are relatively new, or they have their own take on enhanced human/machine capabilities. They're set in a sci-fi world, some of which have very hyper-saturated color palettes. Conflict is taking place, you're trying to figure out what's going on in your planet. The story is very similar. And again, that's not to say that these games are bad, that they don't present something fun to play. It's just that they are what they are, and you either like them or you don't. So as far as Marathon, it's a tried and true formula. You go in, you loot, you get out. That's from the words of the narrator himself when the reveal took place.
Your objective is simple. Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive.
Now you can enter with a pre-made squad or you can go in alone, pretty on point. The menu systems for sorting and organizing your loot and gear all pretty much follow the same formula here. Bungie is no exception. It's just the most obvious and I guess convenient way to do it for these types of games. Apart from the raids themselves where you're looting and killing enemies to take their loot, fortifying your hideout or your base, whatever the case may be for this game, enhancing your character abilities, upgrading your guns, kits, equipment, all of those things are certainly going to sit right at home here as well. These are all things that we've come to fully expect from extraction shooters. Now, if I'm able to actually get my hands on an alpha or beta test, I'll certainly be able to speak more to what I think of the game from experience. I'm not trying to make this video to say that I think the game will inherently be bad. I haven't played it, so I couldn't in all honesty say that, even if I wanted to. This really is just me looking at the game from what's been shown and small snippets of gameplay that I've seen from people who have had early access opportunities. So what Marathon will ultimately become remains to be seen. It doesn't release until September the 23rd. Unfortunately though, and why I'm making this video, is that I'm wondering if this is going to be Bungie's sort of Halo all over again. Now, the last game that at least I think Bungie made that has still held really significant long-term success in terms of a newer generation game was probably the Destiny series. Destiny 2, I know, still commands a pretty high play player base. People love the game. It was rated very highly. I know some people didn't like it. But beyond that, Halo, the most recent one, really wasn't anything. It didn't really go anywhere. I know that a lot of people expected a battle royale. There may have been a group of people, more hardcore fans, that of course don't think it needs that. But realistically speaking, beyond any type of professional environment that Halo may still exist in, nobody's really playing the game. I don't see anybody playing the game. I don't hear anybody talking about the game. I don't think it was enough. And that's what kind of worries me about Marathon. It follows such a generic formula, if you will, when it comes to sci-fi based shooters of any genre, that I'm not really sure if it's going to be able to stand the test of time. Now, me saying that it follows a generic formula may be a little unfair, as a lot of extraction shooters do follow the same formula with only minor twists in the aesthetic of the game, the gameplay overall, how futuristic they are, etc. But you would expect at this particular point in time down the road that we would be seeing things that really presented something new that we haven't seen before, or an extremely unique twist to something we haven't seen before. Does Marathon do that? I don't know. Again, I haven't played the game. Just watching the game though, from people who have played it and the gameplay reveals, it doesn't really seem like something that I would be personally into, and maybe that's okay, everyone else will be. There's nothing wrong with that. I want people to enjoy the games they play, regardless of whether I end up liking them or not. Abilities like being able to go completely invisible or throw up a plasma shield or fast dash across the map, however, are simply gameplay mechanics that I just don't enjoy. The hyper-saturated color palettes are decent, I suppose, if the world is crafted in a aesthetically pleasing way. It's beautiful to look at and to be in, and of course it's diversified enough, which Marathon does seem to have going for it, then it can work. But we've seen it so many times, and there's something that's just sort of juvenile about being in that type of game that for me takes me out of my level of investment. Ultimately, the way that I see Marathon ending up in my catalog is if my friends were to get the game and were to enjoy it, if it was something that you could hop on and play that was relatively easy, not something that you had to think about really hard or try really hard to be good at. Tarkov is a good example of that, where you could go in, complete tasks, get kills, loot up, upgrade, all that good stuff without too much of an emotional or mental investment. At that particular point, I could probably see myself playing the game in rotation alongside others that present a far more hardcore element to them. All in all, I do wish there was a little bit more that I could talk about right now when it comes to Marathon, but I haven't been able to play the game, and therefore my opinion probably doesn't mean much at this point and isn't going to go very far. I hope that I'll be able to get an alpha or beta test key to try out the game so I can make a more in-depth video of what I actually think about the gameplay. When it releases, I'll probably try it out anyway. If it costs a little bit of money, maybe not. It just depends on how much that will be. In making this video, it's really just a bird's eye view approach. I'm going off of what I've seen, I'm going off of what I've heard, what I've watched, what I've read. And so far, I'm not particularly swayed in any one way or the other about this particular game. It is what it is. It's what I would expect from Bungie. So regardless of what I think, I'm curious to know what you think. Do you think Marathon is going to be a solid game? Are you excited for it? Is it something that when you saw the gameplay reveal, you wanted to play right away? What do you think it's going to bring to the table? Or do you think that Marathon will fall by the wayside? It's happened many times before with a lot of these types of games that come out in a very similar setting with very similar play styles and mechanics. They have a little bit of time in the sun, they inevitably sort of wash away. Now, Bungie is a major studio, a major conglomerate of studios with a lot of money and backing to push this game. So it's very likely that this game could have legs, or at least they're going to do everything they can to try to make sure that it does. Ultimately, there's no way to tell, only time will tell. I look forward to getting my hands on the game if I'm able to do so, and if I am able to do so and I genuinely enjoy the game, or I guess maybe I just genuinely don't like it at all, I'll certainly make a follow-up video with hands-on, in-depth experience of what I like about it and what I don't. Anyway though, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. Let me know what you think about the Marathon reveal, if you're excited about it, if you don't have any interest in it at all, and I'll see see you guys online.